Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to People Perspective in the Pulse, where the mic stays open, the conversation stays real, and the poetry flows naturally. From headache to heartache to healing, headlines to home life, we're talking about it all.
Hey y'all, we're back. Season 2.
Season 2. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank
all y'all who supported us throughout the first season. We got more interesting topics for you this week. This season is going to be quite a ride because we got a lot to catch up on.
Listen, the ending of 2025.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's been a lot.
It's been a lot.
And yeah, we titled this one Reckoning Rationalization. So we're gonna go a little. You didn't know that was a title? Did you know?
Lord, that is so on point. I swear you couldn't have given it a better title. That tracks. That definitely tracks. Yes, Jesus. That is a fact, because whether you're talking about the political climate, entertainment, you name it, we are in the midst of the reckoning every day.
And the rationalization that people have used for it all.
I don't get it. And I think that this is perfect in the sense that you would think initially when you hear somebody say, oh yeah, this is what happened, you go, oh, okay, so they didn't like that. And everybody goes, no, they liked it just fine. You go, wait, what? Why? So yeah. Definitely feeling that.
Yeah. So I did not put this on our agenda, but do you want to talk about some goals you got planned for 2026, or you just want to?
No, absolutely, sure.
Okay.
I'm choosing violence on all the days that don't end in Q. That's not what you meant. My bad. That's me anyway. No, real talk for 2026. It is going to be the year of spring cleaning, and not only physical spring cleaning. There's a lot of stuff that I have in my house that I'm getting rid of. I got way too many cars in my driveway I need to get rid of. I've got some emotional things that I need to get out. I've been spending a lot more time listening to podcasts to really assess who I am and what I have done. I'm coming up on the big 5-0 next year, so it's going to be a huge transition for me. So I want to make sure that I get spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally like set straight. So it's going to be a clean out session all of 2026. That's the plan. That's the plot. That's the movie. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I'm over here fumbling because in my mind I'm like, am I really connected to everything, or is it just a?
I mean, we hear you just fine.
Is this an illusion? Like,
are you just rationalizing that you're connected?
Listen,
you want to talk about your shirt?
I'm back. Oh, we do shirts at the end, but I can do it at the beginning. So I literally made this shirt for the new year a few years ago, and it says, I'm glad you're here."
Yeah, that's dope.
And thank you. Not only for the new year, but for everybody who has contemplated suicide, thought about not being here, thought about not wanting to be here, the people who are the semicolon and not the period. This is what this shirt is for, to say, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you decided to keep on pushing, to make it another day, to make it another moment, another month, another whatever the other is. I'm glad you're here to be here to do that with us. So,
and I think that's a great point to mention, because a lot of times we don't realize what other people are going through. I know for me personally, the last 2-3 years have been extremely difficult. Just trying to find footing. Sometimes you think you got solid footing and you find out you're standing on a bed of puddles, and it's just it's difficult to try to understand and empathize with other people's situations when you're going through your own. And there have been, unfortunately, times even this year that I've had to cut people off because it just felt like I constantly found myself trying to explain to them, hey, I can't always be, worried about how you feel about my silence. Sometimes, and you know this personally, sometimes I get quiet because I don't know what to say. And the last thing I want to do is offend somebody else. So I just shut up. But for some reason, even the silence is interpreted as something. So, I think that that's a very wise choice, is to say, hey, look, we care about you. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It,
Yeah.
I know I typed that in the chat because I'm gonna type notes in the chat. You're gonna see them for yourself, but this is for me. The fact that you said bed of puddles, I like that because you don't know how deep or how shallow a puddle is.
It's a great point.
You don't know if you're gonna go to the sunken place or if you're gonna
It's
just
gonna be shallow.
yeah.
It's gonna
You
be
don't
like,
know,
oh,
gone. So oh my goodness, I like that so much. Because
yeah.
I mean, and that's kind of like how life is. It's like a bed of puddles. You don't know what's under the puddle, how deep it is,
Mm-mm.
what's in it,
Mm-mm.
what kind of,
What
trash and
it's
other
made
stuff
of.
could be in it,
Yep.
what lessons are in it. You don't know anything.
Yep. Yep.
You
Yep.
step on that particular puddle.
I was watching the beginning of a movie. I'm going to finish it later on.
Mm.
It's called The Great Flood, and I really love watching other cultures' perspectives on things
Mm.
and how they do everything from thrillers to their dramas and stuff like that. And in this one, in The Great Flood, it's literally about a flood. I haven't finished it. I just started the beginning of it, but in the beginning, the lady gets up and her son loves to swim, and he's like, "Mom, outside's a big swimming pool." Now, of course, you listen to a child, you think, yeah, all right, whatever. But then she goes out into the living room and she's standing there for a minute and she feels water on her feet. And then she looks at the window and there's water at the window.
Mm.
She lives on the 3rd floor.
Oh my goodness.
So it's bad. And I said that to say that sometimes, like, what is, like, had I not said that, you would think, well, that's not that deep, and then you realize how deep it is. It's deeper for some
Right.
people than it is for others. And I
Yep.
think learning how to empathize with people's situations is definitely a necessity sometimes. And if you don't want to empathize with them, that's fine, but you shouldn't make a judgment call on what you think they're doing either.
And that's what I was going to say. Empathize or don't.
Or
But
don't.
don't. Yeah, yeah. And by the don't, get out the way. Just
move.
Yeah.
But
just
you
move.
don't get to, if you're, in my opinion, you shouldn't be allowed to make a judgment on somebody's life until you can empathize with what they're going through to make the decisions that they make. I think one of my favorite quotes is, as a child, you believe in Batman, but as an adult, you understand Joker.
Mm.
Like I tell my son all the time, he and I had some deep conversations yesterday, and he's making these rash, sweeping judgments, and I said, son, the older you get, you're gonna realize that good and evil is more gray than black and white.
Mm.
It's a matter of perspective, because it in a lot of sense, from that other person's perspective, they think they're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes good and evil is just a matter of who's saying it.
Right.
So yes, that's what we are.
Yeah. And that I mean, that brings us to one of the main topics.
That was my attempt at a segue.
Yeah. No. That was a great segue, because there are people who are rationalizing behavior of people because of who those people are.
And that's where I get frustrated when people say, "Oh, this is good and this is evil," and I go, "Really? Because you didn't think it that way when it was this person who did it." And I was watching the most recent special by Dave Chappelle.
Oh, I didn't watch that yet.
Oh my goodness, it's heavy. I mean,
I know, that's why I hadn't watched it yet.
As a matter of fact, it deals with some of the stuff that we're about to talk about today. And I'm just going to give this little tidbit. A part of the RICO charge that P. Diddy got was a part of the Mann Act. And it was Senator Mann that came up with it. And in the Chappelle special, he talks about where the foundation of the Mann Act came from. And how everything comes full circle. like I tell people all the time, like before you go running off at the mouth, find out why things are the way they are before you start making statements. And I mean, just watching that special, it was very surprising. I was, whew, boy, and it made me even take a step back and go, wait, maybe I looked at that wrong.
Right. Okay.
Mm.
So we're gonna I guess we're gonna be covering specials and celebrities and what they doing. So one thing I do want to say about the Reckoning, we're not going all the way through it. We're not going all the way over it. We're not getting into the actual show. Y'all can watch it, not watch it.
See it for yourself.
Yeah, and then do your own stuff. I do want to say a lot of people assumed a lot of stuff, not only in the documentary, but in life. So I say that to say, oh, my throat got dry. I was like, wait a minute, am I about to say something crazy?
Sounds like it. Sounds like you about to say something crazy.
No. I'm just going to tell you the reality of life. So all of this stuff happened in the 90s. So people, some of it 80s, maybe?
I think it was predominantly the 90s.
Okay. But people believe that everybody knew what was going on. They believe that everybody knew. I'm going to say that again. The belief is everybody knew what was going on. Not just the people around him, not the people in that area. The reality of it is New York and the news of New York is East Coast back then. Yes. You might get it on the East Coast, or you might just get it in New York. So a lot of this stuff I heard rumors of, I heard about it, but I didn't know there was footage of like the basketball game and some of this other stuff. This is stuff I just thought was rumors and lore. So in the 90s, the early 90s, I was in Kansas. Kansas wasn't getting that news. It wasn't getting New York East Coast news. Kansas was more on West Coast stuff. I'll say that. Because that's where I learned about DJ Quick, all them. Like I was in my West Coast bag when I was stationed in Kansas because that's what was filtered over to us. Right. New York was filtered down. Right. West Coast was filtered over. And it was technically the Midwest that I was in. So it made sense. So a lot of this stuff I was not aware of. And that's something that a lot of people don't understand, because it's like, how y'all didn't know? How didn't you? I didn't live there. I don't know these people. No. And then after I went to Kansas, I went to Germany. Like it took music back then. Music was behind like 6 months. At the early 90s, it took a whole 6 months. I remember when Waterfalls came out. Apparently, it was already in the States for months, and then it came over to Germany, and people was like, "Don't go." This dance right here. You know when this dance got to us? When somebody from Georgia got stationed in Germany and she brought this dance over to us. Like stuff didn't go.
And you were like, "Oh, that's dope." And you're like, "Girl, this is old."
Yeah, this dance been out for months. When TLC came out with it, you're like, "What? TLC did what?"
Yeah. And you know what's interesting about what you just said too? I want to touch on this. The fact that technology has changed how we perceive time, right? Yes. Whereas if you were to go, let's go back like 400 years, right? Of like to get a message in a couple of days is normal. To get news of something a year later that somebody died is normal. But now, based on what you just said, fast forward to like in the 90s, things are behind like 6 months. But if you were to talk to somebody now, they're only behind maybe by a month. If that, right? Because social media has made it that much quicker for news to get across, that much faster, trends to move that much faster. I was in the 90s, I was predominantly on the East Coast. Even I was stationed in Virginia. And I didn't even know about the basketball game because I was
Right.
so far south, and I was all
Mhm.
about, Ludacris, Lil Jon, East Side Boys, all that kind of stuff. Like that was my bag at the time. I didn't hear much about it, and then I watched the special, and I'm like, oh, is that the same basketball? Like I heard bits and pieces of it, but I didn't
Yeah.
realize that's what it was about. So
Mhm.
yeah, that threw me off. I'm not gonna lie. That was different.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go off a little bit because we go back to Juneteenth, and they were like, how did the people not know that slavery ended? That was, you know how
How are
long
they
ago
supposed to
that
know? Right. How are they supposed to know? But again, and this goes back to your shirt.
Yes.
And it goes back to even Kanye's statement. Well, if I was a slave, like slavery was a choice. Hold on, homie. If you are thinking about it from the context of your mindset now, yeah, to you slavery is a choice. But that choice is based on the foundation of what you've built up as the idea of your ability to make a choice.
Mm.
Whereas back then, you didn't feel you had one because that's what you were conditioned to believe.
Mm.
So the same way, like you were just saying, the same way you have to look at it from the standpoint of, well, how would they have known if you were to empathize with that time frame? And yes, the ability to like having that ability to make a choice. Sometimes you don't even realize it. Like the old experiment where if you take a baby elephant, right, and you tie it to a short stake
Mm.
as a baby, and you keep it tied to that stake as it gets bigger. Well, when it gets bigger, it thinks it still can't move from that stake because when it was a baby, it couldn't move from that stake. So it never tries it. Well, how many times
Right.
do we do that as humans? We've been conditioned to believe it this way. But then a lot of people with a lot of freedom of choice and freedom of, and having had the opportunity to choose for so much of their life,
Mm.
they automatically just think, oh, well, I would have just chose to leave. How? You were never brought up with the idea of choice.
Right.
So how would you know that? You wouldn't even know it's an option. It's like, I'll give you one perfect example. You go to a fast food restaurant now, right? You pull up in the drive-through, you say, yeah, let me get a number one. They go, great. Would you like to make that a medium or a large? Now watch what they did. You ordered a number one combo, right? And this
Mhm.
is anywhere, McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, you name it, right? And they normally all do this. And their next question is, would you like a medium or a large? And I noticed what they did. They gave you two choices, but there's a third choice. You could just leave it the way it is and keep it a small.
Mhm.
But the financial tactic is to get you to spend more money. So they only offer you two choices. So the natural thing for a human to do is go, well, give me the medium. Well, guess what? We just upsold you from a small to a medium and you didn't even notice.
Right.
Right. So the
Right.
same concept is the same here, not knowing that you even had that as a choice.
Mhm.
How would you know to choose it? So I figured out the game and I went, nah, leave it a small. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Give me
Yeah.
my $1.32 back, bro. Nah, you ain't slick. I caught on to the game. Like I don't need that many fries. Half of them gonna stay in the bag anyway. I don't need that much drink. I don't need to
Right.
stay that bloated. There's way too much sugar in it anyhow. Yo, I asked for number one, leave it a small. Would you like to make that a medium or a large? And I go, no.
No. Leave it as is. So
Leave it as
yes. So that's the first thing. Like people just believing that everybody knew this in the 90s
Mhm.
about everything. Oh, and I want to say this. I don't know the name of the movie, but it was with Keke Palmer and oh, I can't think of the name of the movie. It's an older movie. No, it's not that old. I just watched it this year. But she was on a slave plantation, and they didn't know that they were no longer slaves, and she escaped and was like,
Yeah, and saw cars and stuff driving. I can't remember the
yeah,
name of it, but I hadn't seen it yet, but I meant to. Yeah. It almost
yeah. So
reminds me
that's kind of
of
like the same thing. If you can cut off communication
mhm.
or information or knowledge, you can cut off a lot of stuff. And so with this thing, a lot of people knew a lot of stuff, but everybody didn't know. Like people are assuming that if you were around in the 90s, you knew all of this. No, how are we supposed to know all of this?
It's not
We
true.
didn't have the cameras and the footage and the you know, all the stuff that we have now for somebody to pick up on all the stuff that's going on.
Even as an adult, I'm still learning new stuff every day. And I remember
Yeah.
I mentioned it recently. I heard there was a comparison of the Flintstones and the Jetsons, right?
Hmm.
And apparently the thought process was, it's one of those what ifs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, did you know that the Flintstones are not prehistoric? That the Flintstones and the Jetsons were actually in the same time frame. And they actually recorded a crossover where the Flintstones were the ones on the ground and the Jetsons were the ones in the air. And what happened was, it was a dystopian era where something happened. They sent them back to the prehistoric era, and the Flintstones were the middle class and the poor, and the Jetsons were the rich who could live up in the air. Because if you notice, in the Jetsons, you never went below the clouds, and in the Flintstones, and the basis of that idea was, if you think about it, the Flintstones had stuff you shouldn't have had in the prehistoric times, like bowling or TVs and stuff like that, right? And if
they
you
even
look
had
at them,
phones.
they
Like
even had exactly. They had a crossover TV show, but they didn't put that out there because of the implications that there would be some type of dystopian thing that would happen, right? So I said this to a group of nerds, and they went, "Yeah, you didn't know that?" And I'm like, "No, I never knew that." And apparently, it's been this fan fiction idea thing has been around forever. And they were like, "Yeah, we all knew that." And I was like, "No, we all didn't."
You say group of nerds like you're not a nerd, but
no, but I'm saying, like, I said that amongst my people, and they was like, "Duh," and I was like, "Yo, well, y'all didn't tell me, so how was I supposed to know?"
Right.
But it's
right.
and I think that goes to, and for me, it goes to everything. We take advantage of the idea that everybody knows, right? And sometimes I get excited and I tell people about stuff, and they be like, "Oh yeah, I already knew that." And I'll be like, "Well, then why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't know until today." Stuff that I tell my kids, stuff that I tell my family, I'm like, "Yo, you need to do X, Y, and Z." And they'd be like, "Really? I never thought about it like that." You never thought about it like that because you make the assumption everybody knows. No, we don't.
Right.
Nobody wants to look stupid.
I share everything I know. You know that. If I learn something new, I'm be like, "Hey, you find out." And sometimes you say, "Yeah." You be like, "Sometimes, oh, I didn't know that." But if I find out something new, I'm telling it, because I don't think it should be just for me.
I think it's because it's two things. People never want to seem like they don't know. So they're afraid to ask. And then people also don't want to sound condescending. So they're afraid to tell.
Right.
I would tell people stuff and they'd be like, "Why are you acting like we so dumb?" And I'm like, "I'm not acting like you dumb. I just found out myself." So I'm spreading the word about something I just discovered.
Right. Yeah. So
all about egos.
Exactly. So I don't even know how to get into this because it is a difficult topic and a difficult subject. I do want to talk about. I do know what I want to talk about. And after I say this, every question, or anybody that's watching, any question that you got after I say what I got to say, I'm gonna say, ask your mama. So listen.
I know exactly what you mean when you say that too, because what you about to say is gonna seem very normal, like everybody should get it. If you don't get it, go ask your mama, because I ain't finna explain it to you.
Hey, ask your mama why she did it. Like, ask your mama why she did it, why she was there, ask your mama. That's what I'm gonna say. So the one thing, there were some things that got me before this documentary, and that was, I'm gonna come back to that. But the one thing that got me was the hired help dude, because I don't want to say the words. The hired help dude. People were talking about that he wasn't attractive, and he was like, they were just coming out and just saying it, that, oh, why would they hire him, and
Who was saying
this,
Narrow it down. Who was saying that?
It was a post, like it was a picture, And I seen it on a couple people's pages. So it was something going around. A lot of people were liking it. A lot of people were, this is on Facebook and IG. So I don't know who was passing it around. I just saw it and they had a whole thing like, how is this the person that they chose to be? And I'm like, first of all,
please say
I'm gonna
it.
start with, for men.
Please, yes, please say it.
How many times have you just saw a woman from here down and said, oh yeah, that's it. That's her. Hey, everything. I don't even care. I don't even care about this. Do you think that they were looking, because even in those video as he was in the documentary, he was not a bad looking fella. Like he was still together after all these years. His body was still in shape. Do you think? And you know me, I like a little ugly on my man. So I ain't think.
But here's the other thing too. It goes back to what we just said. Empathize with the situation. As big as P. Diddy's ego was, do you think he was trying to find somebody more attractive than he perceived himself to be?
And do you think he is I'm not gonna say that. I mean, people do. I'm gonna say for me, I want y'all. I did a whole video about it a couple months ago on my Him. I got another YouTube channel called Him, How I Met. I did it how I met Diddy. I'm gonna tell you from personal experience, when I met Diddy, I was like,
as in unattractive, or like his vibe, or what?
No, unattractive.
Oh, like just
unattractive to me.
Okay.
And again, I like a little ugly, but this was in the 80s, late 80s.
What was there anything in particular?
His grill was messed up. Hey.
He always has this look on his face like, duh.
That too. And
like every time I see him, it's always like he's trying to keep his face from doing that. Like,
because his teeth used to be jacked up, and so he got his teeth fixed. Yeah.
Like
so
it always looks like he don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So when that happened, again, he wasn't who he is now. He, but and he was tall. I didn't really like tall dudes back then. He was
How tall was he?
He's 6 something. I didn't realize he was 6 something until I read it. And I was like, oh, it's him that tried to talk to me. But whatever. This is when he was a backup dancer for Father MC. This was years ago. This is, And I was like, so that's all I'm gonna say. But the fact that y'all looked at this man and said, oh, they didn't hire him to do nothing. He's got to be lying. That was the first one. And I'm like,
that turned my stomach.
But there's people out here that don't look like nothing. That's making money, selling their goods. Somebody's paying them. Yeah, that's why I said selling their goods. Somebody's paying them. And nowadays, it's not necessarily on the street, but it's OnlyFans. It's different things. Like, don't sit here and act like the way somebody looks dictates what happens to them. And that's why I put the reckoning rationalization, because this is going, if you can rationalize that, oh, he's lying because he's not attractive. This goes back into when I say ask your mama. Because something happened to y'all mamas, something happened to your aunties, something happened to your cousins, and people are telling them that didn't happen to you because you're not attractive enough. Somebody's telling them, oh, you wasn't assaulted because there's no way they would want you. You weigh too much. You not cute. You did. Like, women have been told this over and over. And the thing is, some of it's women saying this because that's how they
asked that question.
Yes.
That's why I asked that. That's why I said, who said it? Because like it almost blows my mind, because when they say that, I go, whoa, you do realize what you're implying, right? Because if attractiveness determines whether or not he should have been a part of that situation, then attractiveness also determines whether or not somebody is assaulted based on that as well, correct? And I usually get the typical, oh, you stretching it. That's not what we're talking about. No, the foundation of the conversation is the same. You can't change his stripes. You know, it's literally the same thing. How you gonna tell me, oh, well, he wasn't attractive enough to be considered a part of that? He wasn't attractive enough for you. But again, you're not empathizing with the situation. You're not Diddy and you're not Cassie. And by the way, Cassie didn't even have, like, did she even have any say so in this? We don't know that. And if she did have a say so, what's to make you say that she didn't like that?
Right.
She might like a little ugly.
Hey. So
Each his own.
yes. And so that's what you got to be careful what you rationalize, because if you can rationalize that, you can rationalize the next thing. You can rationalize the next thing. Or you can be a complete hypocrite and not, and just say, oh no, that's not, just like how people say it, like people say for women, this is, it don't count for me, because anybody compliments me, anybody talks to me, I'm going to be nice, gracious, say thank you.
Right.
I'm never thinking anybody's trying to talk to me, because they don't. So the man is ugly, hush up. Whether the man is ugly or fine, you know how they say it depends on how he look, whether it's harassment or flirting. No, for me, it's the same thing. It depends on what you do. Now, if you cross the line, you cross the line. Okay, how fine you are. It's going to be a problem.
But see, that's what a lot of women, that's what people in general, because men do the same thing. I'm not giving men a bye here. I think some men consider harassment when the woman is not attractive to them, but they'll consider it straight on flirting otherwise. Or sometimes they'll take a simple gesture as flirting if the woman is attractive. They'll be like, oh, she opened the door for me, dog. Nigga, so? She opened the door for me too.
Hey.
Oh, that's messed up. She must be flirting with both of us. No, she wasn't. She was just being nice. Chill out.
That's it. I was at this party. Oh my goodness, last month. I got to figure out how I can explain this without, I don't know some of these people's names, so it's not like I'm going to be outing people, but I won't say, I'll just say people. So I was at this party. There was a group having a bachelorette party. There was this dude there. So he's attractive. He's not, look, he ain't even look ugly. I ain't even gonna hold you, because he cute, little tall for my liking, but he's nice looking. And I know him, and I saw the bride to be pretty much harassing him throughout the night, like pointing at him. And he was like trying to ignore her, trying to get away. One point, he just went to the bar, and I went back there. I was like, "You good?" And he was like, "Yeah." I said, "I see you getting her." I said, "I see that woman kept, coming after." He was like, "I don't know what it is. Like, she real aggressive. Like, why are you, grabbing on me and doing?" I was like, "Oh, okay." So what I do is I always check in with people, because I don't know the relationship that you have with somebody beforehand. Correct. So I checked in with him to see what the relationship was, and he did not like this happening at all. And his friends was picking on him about it, like, and then at one point I was on the dance floor. He literally came and stood beside me, and I was like, okay. And I saw her coming, and no, he was on the stage. She came up behind him and grabbed him. I just grabbed his arm, helped him down the steps, like, come on, dude. So he came and stood beside me. Like, she went up on the stage, grabbed him from behind, and was hugging on him. And I grabbed his arm to bring him on down. And he was like, he kept shaking his head. And I was like, okay. And then one of her friends came up, and she was like, why you don't want to dance with her? What? He was like, he was telling her, like, no, this is not what I want. And the girlfriend was like, well, it's her last night. Go ahead. Just appease her. And he's like, no, I don't want to.
You know what's weird? And I do this every time. Reverse that.
Right. So I imagine stuff like
is that even normal? No. Or I got a better one. Reduce the ages.
Anything.
Like, why do I need to explain to you why this woman making me uncomfortable, I should just be okay with? Why do I need to explain that?
Right.
Like one of my favorite things is, I think you told me this again too. No is a complete sentence.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Why can't you just appease her? Why? I don't
No. Why
I
would I
don't
have
want
to?
to appease her.
No.
I shouldn't have to.
Why?
The
Why
answer is
don't?
still no.
Yeah. Why don't you go home to your soon-to-be husband? Why don't you do that? And because I think if this person would have gave in and would have been like, oh, okay, and decided to say, oh, I'm gonna give it to you, she'd have gave it to him.
Or
Like,
even if she didn't, I think one of the interesting storylines in one of my favorite TV shows, Suits, Harvey, very attractive, perpetually single. He likes what he likes. He always has very expensive tastes, drives nice cars, wears nice tailored suits, blah blah blah, right? But the one thing he does not like is when a married woman approaches him, because his mother had cheated on his father.
Gotcha.
Right? So
Yes.
I think that the stereotype is that men are so sex crazed and always, oh, well, I always want to engage in something physical, that
Right.
most women are under the impression, and men too, as a matter of fact, if a woman is offering you sex and you turn it down, then maybe you don't like women, or or there must be something wrong with you, because why don't you want this? Because I
Right.
just don't want it should be enough.
From this person. Yeah.
Right. Maybe I do want it. I just don't want it from you. Or maybe I do want it from you, but this is highly inappropriate considering the situation you're in. Like, no, I'd rather not.
Right.
Well, why not? I don't need to explain it to you, and I don't think this is the time or the place to do so during
And
your
should.
bachelorette party. Should be
Right.
kind of common sense. Like, and then you'd be wrong if he butt in. Would you be comfortable if her husband was here and doing that?
Right. Would
No,
she be doing that if her husband was there?
probably not.
See what I'm saying? So, yeah. So you got to be careful what you rationalize. Because if you can rationalize, oh, he wasn't fine enough to be an escort. I don't know what y'all think escorts look like. They regular people.
They're supposed to be, because they're not supposed to stand out so much. They're just supposed
Right.
to be regular people who are there to offer you some form of pleasant
Service.
interaction or service that you wouldn't normally get otherwise. They don't necessarily have to be like these dramatic models. And in some people's case, how do you know what's attractive to somebody? Like, what happened to beauty is in the eye of the beholder?
Right. And I'm gonna go ahead. I ain't even gonna hold you. Some of these when I can't even remember what case it was, but some prominent dude was
Mm.
paying these women like 5,000 a night and all this other stuff. And I was looking at these women like, what? You
You paid her how much? I mean, you know what? You ain't even got to go that far. Go to some of the top OF models and just look at them. They look like regular people. Some of them look like regular people to me. And then the
Yes.
ones that are like over the top usually have had a ton of surgery or something. And then
Yeah.
there are those in those rare categories of people who are just natural, and they either spend a lot of time in the gym, or they're abnormally voluptuous in one area, or abnormally skinny or something like that. They're the anomalies. But most
Yes.
of the people are just regular people, or people who had to augment themselves to get there.
Yes. I met this chick when I was buying my car, and they were sitting behind me, and she was buying a car. She was making, I want to say, 40,000 a year. I mean, not a year, 40,000 a month on OnlyFans. When I tell you she didn't look like nothing, I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, so don't tell me that people ain't gonna pay. And when I say look like, that's to me. We
Right.
where I'm at is real country. She looked like she would fit the good old country
Mm-hmm.
looks. I'll say
Right.
that
Right.
because she. So yeah,
And you know what? I think that also has a lot to say about our perception of what beauty is, because
yeah.
I feel like our beauty standards have morphed based on what social media has shown us.
Mm,
Because now with AI and the way the algorithm determines what it shows you, if it sees that you like a particular thing, it shows you more of that particular thing. And then after a
mhm.
while, you think everybody looks like that because you're like, well, I see this on my timeline all the time. Well, yeah, that's because that's what the algorithm chooses to show you all the time because
Right.
you've clicked on this or you looked at this for 2 seconds too long. And that's what it thinks you always like.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say this about I joke when I say I like my man with a hint of ugly.
Hmm.
I'm really joking about that. So
Yeah,
back in the
I know that.
day,
They might not know that.
yeah, my hint of ugly is what people consider fine now.
Hmm.
I've always liked an extra dark man.
Hmm.
I've always liked the strong features.
Hmm.
That's what
Hmm.
I don't have another word for it. I mean, I like the nose and the strong and the square. Like,
Hmm.
and now we know because look, y'all, I'm in my 50s. So in the 90s, this just everybody was about light skin. It was about this, that, and I
Hmm.
was the anomaly because I wanted somebody who was dark
Yeah.
and had
Yeah.
strong features. And now we know that to be more African features, more
Yep. Yep.
like, and I noticed that the men that I find attractive are literally African, like
Yeah.
Nigerian, and
Nigerian.
yeah, like I like the strong features. I
Yeah. Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
darkness of the skin. And when I
Yeah.
was growing up, I was told that the people that I liked were ugly. They weren't to me.
Same here. My thing was I like what I would consider to be voluptuous women or thick women, and
Mm,
I used to get picked on about it my whole life.
yes, until now.
Right until now, because now all of a sudden it's a fad, right?
Yeah.
And when I say voluptuous or thick, I'm not talking about you don't have to be like morbidly obese per se, but a healthy thick woman has always been what grabbed my attention, and I would attribute my attraction, and I think all people can psychologically, to what you were used to seeing as a youth, right?
Mm,
So
mm-hmm,
most of the women in my family and most of the women around them were usually thicker women.
mm,
And normally your attraction to people is based on what you were predominantly around, and then you kind of grew up in that, right? So
mm-hmm,
like my family's from Barbados, and that's what most of the people in Barbados kind of look like. So it
mm-hmm,
was, and so when I would go, either back home to Barbados or even around the people that we knew in Boston, because I was born in Boston, that's what I was used to seeing. So then I, matriculated down to Florida, and I'm around these people, and I was like, yeah, she looks cute, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, she's so fat, and I'm like, no, she's not. And then the people that they liked would be pencil thin and 110 pounds. And for me, I'm 6 foot, 180 pounds. And I don't mind a woman who, you can lean on 210, 212, you know what I'm saying? As long as you're
mm-hmm.
healthy about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And dudes would be like, oh my God, she's so big. And I'd be like, no, she's not. She's barely 10, 15 pounds over me. What are you talking about?
Right.
But these dudes made me feel uncomfortable because I was like, Negro, you feel kind of weird because you like chicks who are like 108 pounds and look like kids next to you. That feels uncomfortable. I'm sorry, but I like a woman to look
You,
like a woman.
you know what? I'm offended by that comment.
Oh Lord Jesus, why? Why pray
Cause I
tell?
look like a kid sometimes. I just got weight
You
on
don't
me.
need no
I
damn
was
kid.
weighing at
Mm-mm,
18.
mm-mm,
I was 90 some pounds.
mm-mm, mm-mm,
In my
mm-mm,
20s, I was 126 pounds
mm-mm,
after having a child.
mm-mm. You still ain't look like no damn kid.
When I met you, I didn't.
Okay, that's different. That was what?
About 10 years ago.
Uh,
I
10,
weighed a good
10, 15 years ago. Yeah.
yeah, I'm in like 140s, 150s now. But
Okay.
I'm just saying during that time, I was one of those pencil.
Yeah, no, I couldn't
And
do
they
it.
won't
No,
checking for me for real because I ain't had no, like I ain't had no butt, no,
man, let me tell you something. And they wasn't the way these women I'm looking for wasn't checking for me either. That's the other thing too that we don't talk about is what you're attracted to might not necessarily be attracted to you.
Right. Right.
These women ain't checking for me. People be like,
Because
oh, you so attractive, you so this, you so that. And I was like, really? Because somebody needs to put out the memo because don't nobody even know I'm here.
right. And I will say my ex is probably a little bit lighter than me. He is considered short. But yeah, when my friends met him, one of my girlfriends literally looked at me and she said, Adrian, he's not ugly. Because she's going off of what she considers ugly from what I used to date.
She didn't say that in front of him, did she?
She might have. This is one of them. She might have. And I was like, okay. But for her, he's lighter. And she saw, because that's how people were back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I said my ex-husband, right? I did say ex. So y'all know I'm not married.
Yes, you did. He said, let me put that out there right now. Not married. So, so I used to get that all the time. And the funny thing to me was, and again, it's like you said, it's the perception. They rationalized in their head that, oh, you must like big women. And I'm thinking to myself, well, no, there's a certain aesthetic I'm looking for. And if that's what you define as big, yes.
Right.
But they had this category that was like this wide, like what you said, they said the dude was ugly, and you like, he might not be
for you.
He might not be what the general public would normally attribute to being attractive, but the man ain't ugly either.
Right.
Because I think you can mathematically define what attractive and unattractive is to some extent. But even after you mathematically define it, you have to define that mathematically based on the statistical data that you get from people's attraction as a whole. But even on that bell curve of people who find this person attractive and that person unattractive, there's still people at opposite ends of that spectrum that are like, no, I still like that.
Right, right. And I'm gonna tell you who I love. Who I love. I love me some Don Cheadle. So people now will say he's attractive.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they I don't know if they, like, even if they saw somebody that looked like him on the street, I don't know if they would say that.
Yeah. And I often wonder too, with you saying that, did he become attractive because of his fame?
Right. Right.
Because there's a lot of attractive people. Like there are some actresses that I've seen that are very attractive, but they're not very well known. And people will be like, man, she's all right. And I'll be like, would you have said that if she was like a Viola Davis? Because, like, ask yourself the question, if Viola Davis, and let's just make this perfectly clear, I love me some Viola Davis, period. Yes. I find her attractive, period. Yes. But I find her attractive whether she was talented or not.
Yes.
So I often wonder, and this is a segue, how does one define attraction? Because I've seen people that they're physically attractive in the picture, but the way they maneuver and the vibe they give off. You ever seen somebody who is attractive, but then when you see them walk, you be like,
ugh. Or hear their voice, and it's like, ugh.
I'd be like, oh, I can't.
That's how you sound.
I've literally said that. I've been like, I can't.
Yeah, and that's what, and that's why we have to separate, because a lot of these people who were saying that this man was not attractive, y'all regular people, and you probably done slept with or been, around somebody who looks like that or worse,
or hasn't been with anybody like that at all, and
can't even get up to that caliber.
But talking about he ain't that attractive, ma'am, sir, what?
Right.
What are you talking about?
Right. So I'm gonna need all of y'all to take several seats, and I want to go back to what is it called? The Black kids, Black class. This couple that we follow,
The
we
one, the
follow.
couple with the glasses.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
no, that's
you always talk about how cute she is.
man. That relationship between him and his wife, man, I love that shit. And I'm glad you brought that up. Please find
Yes.
what the name of it. But I love that couple because
Yes.
that's not two people you would think would be together. Cause like he's a big black bald dude with a beard, and she looks like, and this is no shade to her, but she does not aesthetically, based on statistics or whatever people would normally think,
Based on statistics, yes.
they wouldn't look like two people you would think would be together. But man, when you see their chemistry, I'd be like, I'm a fan of them because of how much I love how much they interact. And she is, to me, she's attractive just because of that. No disrespect to him, but
I know
I
because
I comment on it all the time. In the banter, the witty banter they had, the flirty banter they had with each other. That's what a marriage should look like. Like I love
yes.
that.
Only Black Kids. That's the name of their
Let me tell you something. We promoting podcasts on this podcast. You need to go and check them out.
Yes.
Because
and I hear you when you say you said something about her being cute long before you was watching and listening to their relationship. Right. So I know.
Oh yeah.
You was like, oh.
But that was before I even knew she was married to him. But when I think they were talking about something, and he said, "But I get to see her naked all the time," and I went,
"Yeah,
oh, shit, they married." So I left it.
So you had to you tried to back it up after we had talked about it. You were like, "Oh my goodness, she is so like you."
but here's the thing though, if you were to see her, and this is again no shade to her.
No, because
that's
your attractiveness level. That's your attractiveness level. Yeah.
Right. But see, the problem is, because I've had this problem in the past where people would ask me, well, I've had an ex ask me, well, what do you find attractive? And I said intelligent. Yes. And they would get mad. And I'd be like, no, I'm serious. Like you can be fine as shit, but if you dumb as a brick, I can't, it makes my skin crawl. Like if some of the concepts that come out of your mouth, if you can't add two numbers together, if I tell you to do something and it's right next to the snake, like I can't, like if we can't have witty banter and it makes sense and you not get easily offended by the smallest shit, like I can't do it. I can't do it.
And I'm going to add another layer to even all of that you said, and also be open to different ideas, because that's part of intelligence that people forget. That if I tell you something, that ain't right.
Okay. Because the one thing that I've learned is it's the Dunning-Kruger effect. If you are or just cognitive dissonance in general, if you are incapable of understanding that the more you know, the more you recognize what you don't know, like the more you learn, the more questions you have about the stuff that you've learned, which then it's exponential. So if you learn things and you think you know everything and don't realize that even what you learn has to morph as well, you ain't learning nothing. You just gathering information just so you can regurgitate it to look smart, but you ain't actually intelligent. And that's what I mean when I say that. I like somebody who has a certain physical aesthetic, but there's something about the way they carry themselves that makes me go, I like that.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I know what you like. I'd be like, ooh, I'll send you something. Be like, you don't like that. Like,
yeah, and I'd be like, yeah, you're right. And then sometimes they fall short. Sometimes and you're like, oh Jesus, have Mercedes.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And I don't know how to. But here's the tough thing. How do you explain that to some people? Like you can't just come to them and be like, yeah, this ain't gonna work because you dumb. Yeah.
Well, and those aren't the words that you choose. You can also say,
not.
So look, I'm just talking to the dude. You keep asking me why I'm talking to him. I ain't got nobody else to talk to, and ain't nobody talking to me. So we only went out on one date. So I'm not like necessarily wasting his time. But he don't be talking about nothing. Like he don't ask no questions about me. He don't know much about me. I know everything about him. Because I ask, I'm curious, I want to know, but it's not, like How many siblings you got? Oh, I got this, I got this, I got this.
Dead air.
Okay, so I got some siblings. Like, are you?
And I think that's the tough part about relationships is you have to find somebody. There has to be a balance, right? You have
Yes.
to find somebody who has the desire to want to learn more about you
Yes.
and share who they are,
Yes.
right up to the edge of obsessed, but not
Mhm.
obsessed.
Yeah. I want
Because
to
that's
talk
when it
about
gets
myself.
uncomfortable. Yeah, I want to talk. Like, why
I
wouldn't I?
want you to be curious enough of me to ask me about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And not just me asking about you. Like, I know you love chicken, you love tacos, you like to go out, you like to sit at home, you walk 5 miles a day. This man
Right.
can't tell me nothing about me.
No. And I tell people all the time, if you with somebody, I remember, I gotta point this out. Most of y'all know I'm a spoken word artist. That's why my name is Chamber 7. I haven't done a lot of poetry lately, but even the people who recently have added me know that I do poetry.
Mm-hmm.
I was dating this woman for 3 years, and one day we got into an argument, and I said, "Do you even know the title of any of my poems? I've released 3 studio albums. I have 10 of them in circulation. I have 2 pieces that are about you. Do you know the name of any piece?" And you should have seen the look on her face, like, duh. And that to me was enough. I've got fans right now that can literally recite whole bars of my own shit. And the person that's next to me doesn't know that about me. So I'm saying that not about me, but about anybody. Whoever you're with should at least have enough of a desire to want to know the things that ignite you. They don't have to be exciting to your partner, but they have to be enough. They don't have to be like, oh, well, she likes crochet. Well, nigga, I didn't ask you to want to crochet, but want to know enough about crochet so that it excites you about it, so you understand them, which goes back to our initial conversation of be willing to empathize. And the one person you should be able to want to empathize with more is the nigga you chose to stay with for the rest of your life. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
How
Right.
you ever gonna be able to empathize with the person that's right next to you that will give you the cheat sheet if you but ask? Communicate with that person.
Right. And I got a
And then,
friend. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, and then make the little things that like if I like my remote to be right here, if it's not a big deal to you, leave the remote right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm
I
sorry,
got
go
a
ahead.
friend that's just a friend, and they
Mhm.
know that I cross stitch, and they'll ask me every so often, how's your cross stitching coming? I get so excited. I send a picture. Boom, this is what it looked like. And they're like, oh, that's dope. They're not going to cross stitch. They not going,
They ain't never
they're
plan
just
on picking up a
curious.
cross stitch. They might not even know what a cross stitch look like. Couldn't show it to you, but
Right.
because it excites you and it's something that's for you, and they claim to care about you, I care about it because I care about you. Ain't too
Exactly.
many people that know me that don't know I don't like cars. Ain't too many people that like truly know me that don't know
Right.
I like cars, that I DJ, I like to build stuff, I like to fix stuff. I got a
Yep.
rack of tools. Serena is my bottom bitch, and like that's Sean. At the very least, you know that much about me.
Or
At the,
should.
or should that I've acted in a few films. I normally play a serial killer. I usually always have a knife on me. Violence is a necessary tool. Like, it's just basic stuff about me you should know. If your partner can't rattle that off, are they your partner?
Right.
And I'll even bring it back full circle. Do we honestly believe Diddy knew anything about Cassie
No.
or any of his partners? Because let's just be and I just want to put this out here.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked by the documentary because it was not what I thought it was going to be based on who 50 Cent has always portrayed himself to be. He's the king of petty. And by the way, I aspire to ever reach levels of that level of petty. Like, it was
Oh, we're gonna talk about 50. We
Oh yeah.
gonna look, we already been on here an hour. We're gonna wrap
That's
it up.
fine. It's
But
look, it's season 2. We finna go in.
Thank you again for watching People, Perspective, and the Pulse. Reminding you to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, bring a friend, and let's do it again. Thank you again. Bye.